and welcome to a brand new series of It's a Mystery, the show that attempts to solve the world's greatest mysteries.
Once again, Tristan and I will be going out to track down some incredible stories and spooky tales.
And in the studios, we'll be attempting to solve mysteries that you just won't believe.
We reveal that one of our most famous and best-loved tales is nothing more than a lie.
We find out how you can give yourself a really nasty wound with a scouring pad.
And Gail discovers some spooky goings-on in a Yorkshire cellar.
It's a mystery. What's wrong with one of the most famous stories in the world? See if you can recognise this well-known tale, and can you spot the deliberate mistake?
Once upon a time, there was a girl who lived with her family in a small town. She was the youngest of 3 sisters and always seemed to be doing the household chores. She loved her mother and her sisters and didn't mind helping them out, even if they did make her do more than her fair share of the housework. She scrubbed the work surfaces until they were spotless. She washed the dishes and rinsed the glasses. She cleaned the cooker from top to bottom till it gleamed. And finally, exhausted, she polished the silver and started to mop the floor. While she was mopping, she heard a knock at the door. She went to answer it, and there was the postman with a letter.
Hello there, love. I've got a letter for this address.
Oh, thank you.
All right, bye.
There was no name on the front, so she opened it.
You're invited to a party.
To her utter amazement, she had received an invitation to a very special dance that evening. Where could it have come from, she thought? Who could have sent it? As evening was approaching, anxious not to miss the dance, the girl got ready in a flash and left for the party in a beautiful dress.
Have you spotted the story yet? A girl who lives with her mother and sisters is fed up to the back teeth with doing all the housework. One day she received an invitation to a very special party. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, if you think you know what's going on, keep your eyes peeled for the deliberate mistake.
The girl had a wonderful time at the party and met a handsome prince. They danced and chatted together. Then just as they started to get to know one another, the clock struck 12. The girl had been warned she must be home by midnight. Fearing that her mum would be waiting on the corner of the street for her, the girl dashed out of the party, leaving her fox fur slipper behind on the staircase.
Yes, you've guessed it. It's the story of Cinderella. But did you spot the mistake?
Yep, I did. Very easy. She was wearing a fur slipper when actually we all know it should have been one of these, a glass slipper.
Well, in actual fact, are you ready for this? It shouldn't.
Neil, what is he talking about?
Well, in the earliest versions of this tale, Cinderella wore a fur slipper, not a glass slipper. The misunderstanding came about because of translation.
What do you mean by that?
Well, this story is many years old, but it was not written down until about 300 years ago by a French guy. Now, in this French version, Cinderella wore pantoufles de verre, which actually translates as slippers made of fur. But when the story was being told, someone mistook the word verre, meaning fur, for another French word, verre, meaning glass. And because they sound similar, you know, verre, fur, verre, glass.
Ah, well, I never. Just think, if the translators had got it right, then Cinderella would have never worn glass slippers as we all think. She would have worn fur slippers. It's a mystery how scary this plastic kitchen scourer can be.
And this instant coffee, and this blackcurrant juice.
Believe me, they are scary. In fact, so are all of these. Eyeshadow, lipstick, glue.
So, okay, what do you think they're for?
Well, we're about to reveal all.
Now, it is scary, but don't worry, all is not quite what it seems. Are you okay there, Tris?
Yeah, I'm fine actually. It doesn't hurt a bit. And it's all down to Jill Conway. She's a makeup artist and works on the TV program Casualty. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Now, Jill specialises in pretend wounds and gory, gut-churning injuries.
So you're the one who's done all this to our little Tristan.
Easy on the little.
Yes, I'm afraid I am. It's all in the day's work for me.
Oh, nice job.
Now, Jill's the one that's responsible for all that overacting from Tristan over there.
God, pot calling the kettle black.
Solve this one for me, Jill. Where does the instant coffee and the blackcurrant juice come into all this?
Well, for all the blood we use, we get the blackcurrant juice and each bit of coffee, put it in there and stir it.
So hold on. On Casualty, all the blood that we see is blackcurrant juice and instant coffee.
That's right.
And that's what gives it all the globule bits in
That's
there.
it, yes.
That is revolting. But you know what? I think I'm going to try it this weekend at home, play some tricks.
Don't, you'll give your kids nightmares. That's not
Yeah.
nice. What about my kitchen scourer, Jill? Where does that come into this?
Well, I've cut it into a small piece and with some wound filler. Just put
Wound
it there.
filler?
Yes, it's also a bit gunky. Take a lot.
It might be gunky, but it looks fun.
Just
So that's
dab it
similar to
on.
what you did on my forehead, wasn't
That's
it?
right. Or we can do a long graze.
That is really clever. You can have so much fun with that.
It looks as if all the skin is peeled back on it. It's all horrible, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
Now, you're an expert, and these things seem very simple. Can you show me something that's very simple to do?
Yes, with a blusher brush.
Yeah.
And some eyeshadows, the blues and pinks.
Blusher and eyeshadow, yeah. I've got plenty of that, yeah.
Yes, good.
To give him his own collection at home.
And then just gently with the brush, stipple the eyeshadow.
That tickles.
Does it?
Yeah. In fact, the amazing thing is, none of this actually hurts to do. You're not hurting at all, are you?
Looks it though.
That looks absolutely fantastic. You know what? I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but actually, I'm very proud of me bruise. It looks brilliant, doesn't it?
It looks great. Really effective. What about the glue, though, Jill? That's puzzling me a bit.
Well, with the glue, all these pieces you see here, the bits of skin and the ears, and a little piece like this, it's stuck on, as I've done to Tristan's face, a little piece
Can I
stuck
touch
on there.
that? It looks revolting.
I think you're weird, Jill, all this skin and ears and bits. And oh, hang on. Oh. Looks like Tristan's hurt himself again. Are you all right there?
My teeth.
What's wrong with your teeth?
Oh, Tristan, that's disgusting.
That's horrible.
Listen, don't worry, it's only this. It's broken up mint. He's put them into his mouth to make it look like broken teeth. Very funny, Tristan. You're a one, aren't you? Hey?
I don't know who's the most weird, Jill or Tris. Well, anyway, thank you, Jill. Thank you very much indeed. Jill's the person who solved the mystery of how to turn coffee, blackcurrant juice, glue and scourers into something scary. Here's a spooky one for you. So now's the time to hide behind the sofa if you want to. Do you believe in ghosts? Well, I'm not sure myself, you know, but how about half a ghost? Because it's a mystery what was said to haunt the treasurer's house in York.
Some time ago, the treasurer's house was having central heating installed. So a young man, Harry, was called to do the plumbing. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, although he was aware of how cold and damp it felt in the dark cellar. However, he soon got lost in his work. Suddenly, something caught his attention. What was that eerie noise? It sounded like a trumpet, but maybe he was mistaken. There it was again, but this time it was much louder. Harry shivered and the hairs on the back of his neck stood on end. The noise was coming from down in the cellar with him, and it was getting closer. All of a sudden, something happened that gave Harry the shock of his life. At that moment, Harry thought he saw a Roman soldier coming through the solid wall. The figure walked across the room and seemed to disappear through the opposite wall. Harry gasped in amazement. Maybe he was seeing things. But then suddenly another soldier appeared through the wall, but this time the detail was even more vivid. Then another one, then another one, then another soldier appeared, all filing through, proudly holding onto their round shields. But they weren't very tall. He peered a bit closer and then realised that each of their legs stopped at the knee. Their feet had gone right through the floor, making them look like sort of half-ghosts. Harry just couldn't believe his eyes. When he looked again, everything seemed back to normal. The Roman soldiers had vanished, and Harry stood there, alone in the darkened cellar.
Roman soldiers walking through walls? Don't believe a word of it myself. He must have been working too hard. Seeing things, I reckon. I mean, ghosts are one thing, but half ghosts.
Well, he saw them all clearly.
I reckon it was an optical illusion.
Well, it must have been a pretty big one, I'd say.
And what about those shields? Now, I always thought Roman shields were sort of long and thin, like this one, not round like this one.
Well, this is where it starts to get a bit weird. I did some research and discovered that the 9th Roman Legion in York, that's the city where the mystery takes place, had volunteer soldiers who actually did have round shields.
Okay, so what was going on with the missing feet? I mean, how do you figure that one out? Surely you're not telling us that they were some kind of half-ghosts without feet.
No. Well, it turns out that under the floor of the cellar, a Roman road was discovered. The Roman road lay about half a metre below the current cellar floor. So if I stand on the higher bit, thank you boys, where Harry stood, you can see all of me, can't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if I stand where the Roman road would have been, whoop, you can't see the bottom of my legs.
So if there was such a thing as ghosts, and the ghostly soldiers were walking on a Roman road, then they would appear to Harry to have had missing feet.
Yep, so the mystery of the half-ghosts may not be as strange as it seems.
That's if he did see a ghost. You know, I still reckon he was imagining things. What do you think?
Hello, my name's Mick Pell. I live in Barking in Essex. I'm the chairman of the British Reptile and Amphibian Society. I recently received a phone call from the RSPCA about rehoming a very strange animal. On the 15th of June last year, a man was out walking a friend's dog in a South London park. The dog had begun to play with something in the grass, so the man walked over to the spot where the dog was to see what was going on. He was shocked and amazed by what he saw lurking in the grass. The man came face to face with something he'd never seen before, roaming in his local park. Worried and not quite knowing what to do, the man called the RSPCA. When the RSPCA got to the scene to rescue the animal, he couldn't believe his eyes. As he looked into the grass, he came face to face with a crocodile.
Oh, what an amazing story. A man takes a dog for a walk in the park and finds a crocodile. Now look, don't worry. Luckily for the man who found it, the crocodile was a baby spectacled caiman, and it was only 41 centimetres long. But what on earth was it doing roaming around a park in London? Well, experts believe that the baby croc was probably abandoned or had escaped from its previous owner. Caiman crocodiles, which live in Central and South America, can grow up to 3 metres long and are generally considered to be aggressive, especially if hungry. So for very good reasons, they're not recommended as pets. To keep one, you really do have to know what you're doing. It's also very unusual for a baby crocodile to escape, but I, for one, am happy to know that this one isn't still roaming around London.
The RSPCA officer managed to rescue the crocodile. Then they contacted me because I'm a reptile rescuer. They wanted me to try and find the crocodile proper home, which I was able to do. The RSPCA did say that this was the first stray crocodile they've ever had to deal with.
It's a mystery to me what secrets you can reveal just by looking at someone's face. Take a good look at someone nearby, whoever you're watching the TV with. You could even try looking in a mirror, because there could be more to a face than meets the eye.
Well, if someone's frowning, it could mean that they are deep in thought. Or if the corners of their mouth are turned down, then it's obvious they're quite sad about something.
Okay, how about this one?
Well, it looks like you're smiling, so I guess that means you're happy.
I agree, you can tell whether somebody is tired or happy or sad from their facial expression, but what does it actually tell you about their character? Take another look at your friend's face, and you guys take a good look at each other.
Do we have to?
Yes, you do.
Now, look, I'm sorry, but you've totally lost me now.
Well, some people believe that you can actually tell what sort of person someone is by the shape and layout of their face. For example, look at Tristan. He's got a square-shaped forehead. This might mean that he enjoys starting all sorts of things, but he quickly gets fed up and doesn't finish them.
I
That's
guess
very true.
I started lots of little films when I was a kid, and I only finished one recently. It took me years.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, you know. So, what can you tell from observing my face, then?
All right, well, because you have a long space from the base of your nose to the top of your lip, and it's supposed to mean that you have a wicked sense of humour, which you do. Yeah, he's evil underneath.
I might buy that. So, OK, what's this technique called, then?
Well, it's a high-tech face measuring method known as personology.
Oh, yeah.
And it's thought that the layout of the face, like the position of the nose, the mouth and eyes, and its shape have got a lot to do with the sort of person that you are. Have a look at this chappie here.
Ah,
Yes.
there he is.
Experts say that a person with a turned-up nose,
And there it goes.
like this one, may be happy to learn and grasp new ideas, but a person who had a turned-down nose
Like that.
will be less likely to have a go at new things.
OK. And when it comes to mouths, they claim that if you have fat lower lips, like that, it means that you're really generous. But if you have thin lower lips, it might mean that you're careful with your money.
If you've got eyes that are close together, like this, it could show that you have a built-in sense of right and wrong. But the longer the distance between each eye, the more understanding the person is. And if you've got deep-set eyes, like our Tristan, it shows that you might be quite serious.
Yeah, I will, and I don't want any gags this series, all right? Now, if you have eyebrows that sweep up quite dramatically, you're supposed to be a good storyteller and have a real style when it comes to dressing. But if you have eyebrows that sweep straight across like mine, that means that you love art, music and photography.
Oh.
So there you go. It's amazing just what they think your face could say about you. So that's it for today. We've managed to solve some mysteries, but plenty more still remain. So don't forget to join us next week when we'll try and solve some more.
In the meantime, here's one last mystery for you. A man went out for a walk without taking his umbrella. He didn't wear a hat and he didn't take any refuge under shelter.
Now, the mystery is, how come not one single hair on his head got wet?
Can you work it out? We'll reveal the answer next time.
If you've got a mystery you'd like us to try and solve, please write to us at this address. It's a Mystery, P.O. Box 1234, Maidstone, Kent, ME14 5XX.